Welcome to KH Horror Stories, where fear comes alive for every second. From eerie encounters to spine-tingling mysteries, each story is designed to pull you deeper into the darkness. Stay with us, if you dare. Put on your headphones for the best experience.
I was in math class, bored out of my mind. So I asked to go to the bathroom just to waste some time. I do that pretty often, honestly. I'll just sit in a stall, pull out my phone, scroll for a few minutes, then head back when I feel like it. So I went upstairs to the bathroom near the old science wing. Hardly anyone uses that one because it's way out of the way. I went into the last stall, sat down, pulled out my phone, and started playing a game. After maybe 2 minutes, the lights shut off. At first, I thought some idiot was messing with the switch, so I laughed and said, "Haha, very funny. Turn him back on." Nothing. No answer. The lights stayed off. Then, I heard the bathroom door creak open real slow, then slam shut hard enough to make the stall walls shake. My heart kind of dropped and I sat up. "Hello?" No response. Then the lights came back on. I remember muttering, "Finally." But then they started flickering again. Off, on, off, on. Then faster, like somebody was just standing there flipping the switch over and over. At that point, I was more annoyed than scared. So I got up and stepped out of the stall, ready to call out whoever was messing with me. The second I stepped out, the lights stopped, stayed on. The bathroom was empty. No one at the sinks, no feet under the stalls, nothing. Then I walked toward the door and realized it was locked from the inside. That's when I started getting that horrible feeling in my stomach, like genuine panic. I started checking the stalls one by one just to make sure nobody was hiding. Every single one was empty. Then, as I turned back toward the door, I saw something move above one of the stalls, just barely, like a shadow crouched up there. I froze, didn't move, didn't breathe. Then I slowly stepped toward that stall, looked inside. Nothing. Nobody. Completely empty. And the second I turned around, there was something standing right in front of me. Tall, pitch black, no face, no features. Just this human-shaped shadow standing there staring at me. I screamed and ran for the door. Honestly, don't even remember unlocking it. Just know I got out somehow and ran. After that, I refused to ever use that bathroom again. Didn't matter if I had to walk across the whole school. I used the senior block bathrooms from then on because there were always people there. I wasn't going back in that one alone. Then, a few weeks later, after dismissal, I was waiting for my ride and had to pee so bad, I genuinely thought I was going to lose it. Every bathroom I checked was locked, except that one. That bathroom door was open. The lights were on, and I saw someone inside, a janitor. Older lady, probably late 60s, gray hair tied back, yellow gloves on, mopping the floor. I can't even explain how relieved I felt seeing another person in there. I actually laughed to myself thinking maybe I just freaked myself out before. So I walked in. Then she said, "Bathroom's closed, sweetheart." I turned around and laughed nervously. "Jesus, you scared me." She didn't laugh, didn't smile, just stared at me and said, completely flat, "You shouldn't be in here when the lights go out." That made my stomach drop immediately. But I had to go so bad, I kind of ignored it and just mumbled, "Sorry," and went into the stall. A few seconds later, I heard her mopping. Slow,
that wet, dragging sound across the tile. Back and forth, back and forth. Except after a few seconds, I realized it wasn't moving around. It stayed right outside my stall. Then it stopped, dead silent. Then she said, right outside the stall, soft as hell, "You see my face from down there?" I froze. I swear my whole body locked up. And slowly, her head lowered into view under the stall door, upside down, like she was bent backwards in half, her face inches from the floor, smiling, way too wide, her eyes completely white. I screamed and kicked the stall door open. She was gone, completely gone. No mop bucket, no wet floor sign, nothing. Then every stall door slammed shut, one after another. Bang, 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 bang. The lights went out, pitch black. And right next to my ear, I heard her whisper, "Locked." I don't remember unlocking the door. I just know I ran straight out of there and didn't stop until I got to the principal's office. I was crying so hard I could barely breathe. The principal thought I was messing around at first, until she saw how pale I was. They checked the security cameras later. Nobody had entered that bathroom after me. Nobody. Then when I described the janitor, gray hair, yellow gloves, old woman, the vice principal went dead silent, then asked me, "Are you sure that's what she looked like?" I said yes. He told me there used to be a janitor named Mrs. Wilkes who worked that wing. 10 years earlier, she slipped while cleaning that exact bathroom after school, hit her head on the sink, and bled out before anyone found her. Ever since then, people say if the lights in that bathroom start flickering, you leave before she starts mopping. I've never gone back in there since. And even now, sometimes when I walk past that hallway during school, I still hear that mop dragging across the floor. Slow. Back and forth. Like she's still in there. Waiting. I used to teach at a rough inner-city school. Their issues were so bad, it nearly made me leave the profession entirely. I'd been a high school science teacher for a little under 10 years. Before that, I'd worked at poor urban schools my whole career, and honestly loved most of it. Yeah, there were bad days, difficult students, stress, but that's teaching. Then, in my 5th year, I transferred schools. I thought I was taking on a new challenge. That year almost got me killed. The entire place was chaos from day one. Class was basically optional. Students walked in and out whenever they wanted. Fights happened in the hallways almost daily. Teachers got cursed at, shoved, threatened. Administration either ignored it or blamed us for not understanding the students. There was one group in particular. 6 boys. Everybody knew them. Even security didn't like dealing with them. They sat in the back of my room every day, never worked, never listened, just stared at me and laughed whenever I tried to discipline them. Then one day after school, they followed me out to the parking lot. They circled around me. One of them pulled out a knife, then another, then another. One of them told me, "You better pass us or you're dead." I reported everything immediately. The principal told me not to escalate it, said they were just trying to scare me, said filing police reports would ruin their futures. I told her if anything happened to me, it was on her. 3 weeks later, I never made it home. Police said I disappeared. My family thought I ran away. The school replaced me within a week. Nobody asked questions. until construction crews found my body months later behind the old gym, buried under fresh concrete, hands tied behind my back, still wearing my staff ID badge. The case blew up overnight, and those 6 boys, they were arrested within days. One of them confessed, said they only meant to scare me, said things got out of hand. All 6 were convicted. That should have been the end of it, but it wasn't, because the school never recovered after that. It started with the principal. She stayed late one night doing paperwork. Custodians heard screaming from her office. They found her dead at her desk, her head smashed repeatedly into her keyboard, over and over. So hard, several teeth were embedded in the keys. On her computer screen, typed over and over by itself, "You should have listened." People blamed stress, said maybe someone broke in. Then, the janitor died, dragged into a classroom after hours, found under a desk with every chair in the room stacked on top of him. Then students started seeing things. A man standing in empty classrooms after dismissal, footsteps in locked science labs, a voice whispering behind them, "Take your seat." And then, the boys started dying, one by one. The first was found in his bedroom, body twisted backward in his desk chair, his jaw ripped open so wide it split his cheeks, a graded worksheet shoved down his throat, red pen across the top, failed. The second disappeared for 3 days. They found him in the school boiler room, locked inside from the outside, burned alive. The third jumped from the roof of his apartment building. At least, that's what police said. But witnesses swore they saw him fighting something invisible before he went over the edge. By then, everyone knew. Whatever was in that school, it wanted them. All of them. The last surviving boy came back to the school, middle of the day, ran into the office screaming that he was sorry, begging for forgiveness, crying so hard he could barely stand. He admitted everything right there. Said they buried me while I was still breathing. Said they could hear me screaming underground while they poured concrete over the hole. Then the lights went out. Entire building. Pitch black. Every classroom door slammed shut at once. And over the intercom, a voice. Cold. Distorted. Wet. To class. That boy started screaming. He ran. Made it halfway down the hallway before something grabbed him. Witnesses said his body was dragged across the floor by nothing, straight into my old classroom. The door slammed behind him. Nobody opened it for 5 minutes because of the screaming. When police finally got inside, he was sitting in a desk, perfectly still, hands folded, eyes missing. And on the whiteboard behind him, written in blood, "Class dismissed." The school shut down after that. They demolished it the next year. But even now, people who pass the empty lot at night say they still hear a man's voice from the dark. Quiet. Patient. Waiting. Saying, "Take your seat." When I was in 6th grade, I went camping with my youth group in rural Virginia. The only people who went were several 11-year-old boys, my youth minister, and his wife. In the middle of the night, I was kept awake by the cold.
My head was right at the corner of my tent, and all the rest of the boys were also in that tent. There was only one other tent for my youth minister and his wife.
While I sat there looking up at the tent, I could hear the occasional frog or bird outside. But at one point, I remember hearing a young girl saying, "Hey," repeatedly, right outside the tent. I woke up two of the other boys and asked if they heard it. One of them did, but the other said he could only hear frogs. Then, as if the girl was becoming desperate for attention, she started saying, "Please, help me." My two friends and I agreed to wake up the others. All 5 of us left the tent and saw nobody. Our youth minister came out of his tent and asked what we were doing. I said we thought we heard someone outside, so he and his wife went to the edge of the woods with flashlights and found nothing. We all went back to our tents. Then, after about 20 minutes, I heard the trembling voice again. Only this time it said, "Why won't you help me?" I grabbed a flashlight and threw open the tent flap. Nobody. For the past 7 years, I told myself it had to be some prankster in the woods. But the creepy part is, what if it really was a little girl in need of help? That thought stayed in the back of my mind for years. Then, when I was 18, I went back. I know that sounds stupid, but I had to. I had just graduated high school, and my friend Tyler, the one who heard the voice with me that night, agreed to go back out there with me. We drove up to the same campground in Western Virginia where it happened. The place looked smaller than I remembered. Older. Wrong, somehow. The camp manager was a different guy now, maybe in his 60s. We told him why we were there, expecting him to laugh it off. Instead, he got real quiet. Then he asked us exactly what the voice had said. When we told him, his face changed. He took a long breath and said, "You boys were camped by the old service road, weren't you?" We said yes. He nodded slowly. Then he told us that back in 1987, a little girl named Emily Harper disappeared near those woods during a family camping trip. She was 8, never found. Her parents said they heard her screaming from the woods that night, but by the time they got there, she was gone. Police searched for weeks. Nothing. The manager said people had reported hearing a girl crying in that area for years. Most brushed it off. Some refused to camp near there again. Tyler laughed and said the guy was probably just messing with us, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. So that night, we camped there again. Same clearing, same woods, just me and Tyler. We sat by the fire until around midnight, not really talking much. Neither of us wanted to admit we were nervous. Then, around 1 a.m., we heard it. Soft. From the trees. "Hello?" Tyler froze. I remember every hair on my arm standing straight up. Then again, closer. "Can you help me?" Tyler whispered. "Dude, no, absolutely not." But I stood up. I don't know why. Maybe because for 7 years I'd lived with the thought that maybe somebody really needed help and we failed them. I grabbed the flashlight and walked toward the woods. Tyler kept saying not to. I didn't listen. The voice kept calling, leading me deeper between the trees, always sounding just ahead of me, always just out of sight. Then, suddenly, it stopped. Dead silence. Even the crickets stopped. I swept the flashlight around and said, "Emily?" And that's when I saw her, standing maybe 20 feet away between 2 trees. A little girl, white nightgown, bare feet, long black hair hanging over half her face, her head tilted slightly,
like she was confused. She looked normal for maybe half a second. Then the flashlight hit her face, and I realized her mouth was way too wide. It stretched nearly ear to ear. Her eyes were completely black. Not dark, black. Like empty holes. She smiled at me, and in a voice that no longer sounded human, she said, "You finally came." I ran. I turned and sprinted as hard as I could through the trees, branches smacking me in the face. Behind me, I could hear feet running too. Fast. Too fast for something that small. I burst into the clearing, screaming for Tyler. But Tyler was gone. His chair was tipped over. Tent half collapsed. Phone on the ground. No Tyler. Then from behind me, that same little girl voice whispered right next to my ear. He helped me instead. I spun around. Nothing there. I left everything, got in my truck, and drove. I called police. Search teams came. Dogs came. They never found Tyler. No blood, no tracks, nothing. He was just gone. That was 9 years ago. Last week, I got a voicemail from a number I didn't recognize. It was mostly static, but underneath it, very faint, I heard Tyler's voice, crying, whispering, "Please, help me." After that first night, I got curious. At first, I didn't even want to know more because, honestly, I was already freaked out enough just hearing the laugh. But when you work alone in a building every night and people keep telling you there's a dead kid walking around in it, eventually you start wanting answers. So I started asking questions. Most teachers got weird when I brought it up, like immediately uncomfortable. A few would laugh it off and blame old building noises. Others flat out told me not to ask. That only made me want to know more. Finally, one of the older teachers, one who had been there forever, pulled me aside and told me if I really wanted the truth, I probably wasn't going to like it. She said the story everyone repeated about the boy dying from a medical emergency wasn't exactly true. That was just what the school told parents. The real story was ugly. She said the boy really was autistic, but he also had severe behavioral issues, and not just tantrums or meltdowns. She said there was something deeply wrong with him. He hurt animals for fun, pulled wings off birds at recess, and laughed while other kids cried. One time, he smashed the class hamster against the floor because another student wouldn't let him hold it. He bit teachers, scratched kids until they bled. Once told a girl he wanted to see what her insides looked like. Another time, he locked a kid in a bathroom stall and tried jamming pencils under the door at his face while laughing. The school kept covering for him because they were terrified of legal trouble and bad press. So every violent thing got written off as a behavioral episode or misunderstanding. Until one day, he attacked a little girl on the playground and started slamming her face into the blacktop by her hair. Her older brother saw it, sprinted over, and shoved him off her, hard. The boy fell backward and cracked the back of his head on the concrete curb. They said he stood up for a second, looked around all dazed, then collapsed. He died on the way to the hospital. The school buried the truth immediately and told everyone it was a tragic playground accident. Because if people found out they'd ignored warning signs for months and that he died while attacking another student, the lawsuits would have ruined them. After hearing all that, a lot of the stuff that happened in that building made way more sense. Because whatever was haunting that school did not feel like some sad, lost kid. It felt cruel, like it enjoyed scaring people. And not long after learning the truth, it started getting worse with me. At first, it was little things. Hearing footsteps running behind me in empty hallways, classroom doors slamming when I walked past, lights cutting out only in whatever room I was in.
Then one night, while cleaning desks in a first-grade classroom, something threw a plastic chair across the room so hard, it hit the wall and shattered one of the legs. I was alone in that room. Another night, I was mopping near the library when I felt something yank hard on the back of my shirt, like a kid trying to get my attention. I spun around so fast I nearly slipped. Nobody there. Then came the boiler room. I was clocking out close to midnight and had gone down there to grab my bag when the door behind me slammed shut. I mean hard enough the whole room shook. Then the lights went out. Pitch black. I started feeling around for the door when something shoved me from behind. Not brushed me, shoved me. Hard enough I went face first into the concrete floor. Before I could even get up, I heard footsteps circling me in the dark. Small footsteps, bare feet slapping against concrete. Fast, running around me in circles. And then, right by my ear, this little kid voice whispered, clear as day, "You know what I did." I don't remember how I got out of that room. I just know I ran. I left my stuff there, got in my car, and drove home shaking so bad I almost wrecked twice. I told myself I was done, that I wasn't ever stepping foot back in that building again. The next morning, my phone rang. It was the principal. Her voice sounded panicked. She asked where I was and said they needed me there immediately. I asked why, and all she said was, "Something happened in the library last night, and you need to see it for yourself."
Thank you for your time. Hope you enjoyed this experience. Leave your suggestions in the comments and like and hit the subscribe button to help us grow.